Hello, I'm the Artsy Crafter, and you can find me on Teachers Pay Teachers and on TES, and the links to my store are below. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Father's Day endless postcard. And basically, as long as your students can cut out rectangles, they can create this endless postcard. This particular postcard that I created has a picture with Dad and a little boy. Of course, I have some with Dad and little girls. So this can be good for Dad, Grandpa, Uncle, brother, friend, whatever Father's Day person our little ones have in their life. So the way the endless postcard works is like this. Sits flat, you open it up. I've made sure that I have writing activities for the students and all kinds of really fun graphics. Open it up, page 3, open it up, page 4, open it up, you're back to the beginning. That's why it's called the endless postcard. So I think your students will love to create it, and like I said, as long as they can cut out 8 rectangles, we're good to go. I'll show you how to put it together. So stay tuned and we'll begin the gluing process. Okay, I think we're ready to begin putting our project together. So what I have here on my desk are the 8 pieces I've chosen to create this project. Now you can see what I have are 4 what I'll call tall templates and 4 of the long templates. And the way you do this is as follows. So step number 1, make sure students color everything that they need to create with. Okay. Step number 2, if there's anything that requires writing, have the students complete that. Little face on this one. So number 1, color. Number 2, complete all the writing activities. And step number 3, then cut out the templates that you'll require for this project. And like I said, you need 4 talls and 4 longs. When you have that done, the next step is to make all of your folds. So you can see all of the items here I have a dashed line. So what I want you to do is crease on the dashed lines. So put the template flat on your desk and fold in both directions. So you can see I folded forward first and then turn it back on itself, fold again, and with your finger make a really good crease. So color, do the writing activities, cut 8 templates, and then make all of your folds, and I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, let's get started on the next step. So the nice part about using regular photocopy paper is it's really flexible and easy to work with. So regular photocopy paper and then a glue stick. And that's all you'll need at this stage. Okay, so I'm going to set aside my 4 long templates for now. And I'm going to pick the 2 I want on the front. And I'm going to set those 2 aside as well. So I'll start with the other 2 talls, okay? So I want them to be situated like this when I'm finished. So first step is to turn these 2 talls turn them over. So take them and turn them over, and notice I rotate them as I turn them. So you've got those 2 in place. And now I'm going to put on 2 longs. The 2 longs that I put on, they go on upside down. So I'll put them in the upside down position so that when I go to glue in a minute, I won't forget. So now take your glue, and what you're going to do is just put glue in the 4 corners of these 2 talls. And you're going to take one of the longs, starting in the top left-hand corner, line it up as close as possible as you can to the outside edge. Bring the other tall close to the first one without touching, and then put your long template in place and line up again as best you can. Don't worry about these edges because we'll trim those in a moment, okay? So that's the first thing. Before this dries here on the bottom, I want you to do the exact same thing. So line up the 2 bottoms and hold those in place. and let it dry for a minute before we continue to the next step. While you're waiting, if you have some excess, like I do here on the edge, take your scissors and trim that off for a minute. Okay, let's move on to the next step. So this is what you should have so far. This was the back. Turn it over, and here's the front, okay? And remember, your two tawls are in place, and this is what that crease should look like. It should be vertical on the front. All right, now what I want you to do is open the doors. So open the doors and tuck them under. So one folds open to the left and one folds open to the right. And notice when we open the doors and tuck them under, you'll have two squares that are created here in the inside. And because you've already creased those edges once, the second time now will be easier to crease again. So open it up, crease the edges, and I'll get you ready for the next step. Okay, what you have created now, you can see here in the center I have two large squares, and then I have in each corner 4 smaller squares. So you're going to put on the next 2 longs. I want to put mine on this way. So what you're going to do, notice these ones don't get turned upside down. You're going to put glue in the corners here. So 1 corner, 2 corners, and then in the middle of that large square. And in the bottom, left corner, right corner, and then a good daub in the middle of that large square. And again, line up your pieces. So I'm going to start here in the top left-hand corner and line those up as best I can. Okay, so basically the glue is here, here, and right here in the middle of that square. And do the same thing on the bottom. Line up the 2 bottom corners, glue here, here, and underneath this one here. Okay, now let that dry for a minute, and I'll show you how to do the next side. And again, if you're like me and you have a little bit of excess on the side here, take a moment and trim that off. Okay, we're ready for our last step. What I want you to do again, open the doors. This time one goes to the top and one goes to the bottom. Tuck them under and crease those edges again with your fingers. So nice, good creases. So what you've created now, it looks like 4 small squares on the top, 2 large in the middle, and 4 in the bottom. So what I want you to do is put glue in all 4 corners and in the middle. So on the left I put glue in these 4 corners and in the middle, and on the right in those 4 corners and in the middle. And I want Dad and the boy to be on the left hand side, so I'll put that one in place. Remember, I have graphics in there for Dad and girls as well. And on the right hand side, the 4 corners and 1 in the middle. And I'll put this one in place. And again, give it a second to dry. And while you're waiting, if you have any excess around, you can trim up those edges. So give it a moment to dry, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, let's take a look at what we've created so far. So this is the front of my Endless Father's Day card. I open it up, and again, first time around, you're going to crease some of those edges again so it sits nice and flat, okay? So I opened it up. That's what my first side looks like. I open it up again, and if it catches in places, like that did a little bit, I'll show you how you're going to fix that. So open it up, and every time you open and it catches a little bit, just take your scissors and trim off some of the excess edging there, okay? And that will create gaps between some of the items. So last one, I knew it was catching right here a little bit, so I'll trim that up. So I want you to go open and close a few times and trim up all the edges, and I'll be back to show you one last trick. Okay, I've trimmed up all my edges. I've opened and closed it about 4 or 5 times, and I'm happy with the result. So this is how mine looks. And notice it's a really smooth transition now as I open and close items. Now, some of you might have done this. You might be opening yours. I'm just going to turn this upside down for a minute, and you might be opening and closing and saying, okay, that's perfect. But why now when I get here are my longs upside down? If that happens to you, just turn it over and open and shut and look at it. Everything's perfect. So I hope you love your Father's Day endless card. I made one for Mother's Day. I'm working on some more for Christmas and back to school. Again, find me on Teachers Pay Teachers or TES, and I hope the fathers in your life, whether that's dad, uncle, brother, grandpa, I hope they love their endless card. All right, bye now.